Welcome back. You're watching Gravitas, and now to the political churn in India's neighbourhood. Nepal's Prime Minister Prachand has resigned amid opposition protests. His coalition partner taking over the caretaker government. Here's a report.
यसरी चौतर्फी राजनीतिक, सामाजिक, आर्थिक र कूटनीतिक समस्याका बीच सम्मानित सदनबाट मैले प्रधानमन्त्रीको पदको जिम्मेवारी पाएको थिएँ.
With that, Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand resigned, ending not only his second stint as Prime Minister of Nepal, but also days of political uncertainty in the country, and relegating the government to a caretaker status until the next election. The Prime Minister's announcement was delayed by this. The main opposition, CPN-UML, derailed proceedings in Parliament, protesting against the government's decision to increase the number of local units in the Tarai districts. The opposition called it a violation of the poll code. The Prime Minister's exit paves the way for this man, his coalition partner and Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba. The two had signed a pact in August last year to run the government on a rotational basis till parliamentary elections in February 2018. Prachand was to hold office till local polls were held. On the 14th of May, millions voted in the country's first local polls in 2 decades. Post-1997, local elections could not be held due to the Maoist insurgency that claimed thousands of lives. The second phase of local polls will be held on the 14th of June. The current protests notwithstanding, Nepal has taken a crucial step towards cementing democracy amid political turmoil. Bureau Report, WION.
And we have with us Ram Sharan Mehet, Member of Parliament, former Finance Minister of Nepal, also former Foreign Minister and Senior Leader of the Nepali Congress. Good evening, sir. The resignation of the Prime Minister comes as per the deal that he struck with his coalition partner. Why is the opposition then protesting?
This is the question that the opposition should answer. Because in Nepal, even on flimsy grounds, they try to obstruct the parliament. So what the UML is doing at the moment, obstructing parliament, is on flimsy ground. Recently, the government added some, rural municipalities, the number of municipalities, to address the concerns of the Madhesi groups. They consider it as a violation of electoral code of conduct just on the pre-election days. So they were trying to obstruct the parliament. They obstructed the parliament and it could not be held. So we were suggesting if they have anything to say, even protesting, let them speak in the parliament. And if it is not legal or constitutional, they can go to court. But obstruction of the parliament is wrong. That is what we have been saying. So for the last 2 days, parliamentary proceeding has been obstructed and no, parliamentary, action, parliamentary affairs could take place. Tomorrow there is address by the President on the government's new policies and programs, and I think that will take place.
And what next for Mr. Prachand? He's ended his second stint as Prime Minister of Nepal.
He will still be the leader of his party. He will be the member of parliament. He will continue to play the political role that he has been playing even before he became the prime minister. So he is the leader of the third largest party in the parliament. In that capacity, he has a role to play.
And what can you tell us about the incoming Prime Minister, Mr. Deuba?
Deuba is the leader of our party. He is our party president. So this is the 4th time he will be the Prime Minister. In Nepal, there is such a frequent change in government, as you say. It is no surprise who comes to power and who goes out. So I hope things will be better under his dispensation.
Okay. And how does this change of guard, if at all, affect the life of the average Nepalese citizen?
It makes very little difference. Because unless you have a government that survives a little longer, you ensure political stability, you improve governance, the lives of the people can improve, some visible change you can see over a period of time. You can't see visible change overnight. You see, so this new government under Deuba will remain in place for the next 6 months or so, when we will have the next general election. So in 6 months' time, I think there will be, I hope, there will be improvement in the governance, overall management of the economy, and overall, management of the state affairs. But visible change in the life of the people, it's difficult to say. It takes time.
But isn't 6 months a very short period to affect any real change? And isn't this power-sharing pact of the ruling coalition essentially creating more uncertainty and lack of continuity in the administration in Nepal?
This has been unfortunate part. This has been, unfortunately, the state of affairs in Nepal today. There has been frequent change in government. The understanding before the two parties that took place last August was the local election will be held under Mr. Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda's premiership, and the national general election will take place under the presidency of the Nepali Congress leader. That was the understanding they had. So as per that understanding, the new change of leadership is taking place.
And my final question to you about the local polls that are on the second phase on the 14th of June. Beyond the symbolic significance of the first local elections for the first time in 2 decades, what has the public response to this election been like?
No, it has been a tremendous, positive response on the part of the people. We had no local election for the last almost 19 years. So people are participating in the local polls for the first time after a long gap. So the response was enthusiastic. People were excited. And it is under a new setup. The distinctive feature of Nepal's local election is local bodies have constitutional power guaranteed by the constitution. Unlike in many countries, even in Nepal before, local bodies had delegated power from the center. But now, local bodies have tremendous power vested to them by the constitution itself. So they have been equipped with tremendous power in terms of governmental activities, in terms of local law and order, even semi-judicial function. So people are excited about the degree of power that the local representatives will have.
Right. Mr. Mahat, thanks very much. Nepal, interestingly, has had close to 25 Prime Minister in the past 25 years. Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand was its 39th Prime Minister, who's resigned today. Thanks very much for joining us with your perspective from Kathmandu. Still ahead on this show, why are Chinese state-owned companies complaining about their president's ambitious One Belt, One Road project?